Slammy, Ego, Slammy, Ego, Slammy, hey. Hit it up hard. Hit him with a strike. From the national anthem to the bottom of the night. Amen. Slammy, Ego, Slammy, Ego, Slammy, Ego, Slammy, hey. You already know what's up. What's that? Another home run. We should know the job ain't done till we hold that trophy up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 383 of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. Ben Fadden with you here, episode 383, April 15, 2023 is the date. The Padres, obviously, they have dropped the first two games of this Milwaukee Brewers series, and it's definitely disappointing right now. But my main message, obviously, in this show, we're going to be fine. I think this team is too talented to be obviously under 500 this season, right? We're 15 games into this season. They don't have Fernando Tatis Jr. They don't have Joe Musgrove. They don't have Robert Suarez. And I don't expect the pitching to be as bad as it was last night with Michael Wacha all year long, right? Wacha's first two starts were really good. And the starting rotation, other than Blake Snell, has been pretty good this year, I think. I don't expect Blake Snell to pitch this bad in the second half of the season, just based on track record. I don't expect the offense to be as underwhelming as it's been at the beginning of the season here. A 4-3 loss. I'm going to talk about the first two games in this series and anything you want to talk about. You want me to get to your comment, your question, use that super chat button. I'll definitely get to you. I appreciate the support. 4-3 loss first game, 11-2 loss last night on City Connect night. Michael Wacha sucked from the beginning, gave up extra base hit after extra base hit. How many extra base hits did the Brewers have last night? Like 8? I think that had to have like a franchise record for them. But yeah, it was brutal. Yelich came right out of the gate doubling. Adames doubled. That made it 1-0. Brian Anderson doubled. Made it 2-0. Voit singled. Made it 3-0. Mike Brosseau, he doubled. Made it 4-0. That was just in the first inning. And so this game was, I don't want to say it was over before the Padres had even hit, before Xander stepped to the plate. Or who was leading off last night? I think it was Xander. Before the offense stepped up. I don't want to say the game was over because the Padres do have the talent in the lineup to be able to go score 5 runs in a game. But when you give up 4 runs in the first inning, that's telling the pitching staff, well, probably can't give up any more runs the rest of the if you want to win this game. So there wasn't a great chance of winning, but I still gave the Padres a chance to win. With the offense that they have, the talent that they had, would that have happened? Would I have given the Padres a chance to win that game last night in the first inning after Wacha allowed 4 runs? If it was 2017 or 2019, no. And maybe I shouldn't have given the offense a chance based on the way it's been performing and how underwhelming it has been. But it is early in the season. And I don't know how early fans can use that, like the ones that are trying to look at this more positive. How long can we use it's early, it's early. How long can we use that? It'll come around. I'm still going to use it now because 15 games in, something like that, 7-8 I think the team is right now. I know they have a losing record. How long can we use that? 40 games? Is 40 games good? 60 games, still have 102 left after that. Like, how long is that for you? Let me know in the chat. Again, if you have any questions, any comments that you want me to make sure that I get to, you can use that super chat button super chat, super thanks during regular videos. It's disappointing. I mean, Milwaukee last night, and that just started in the first inning. Second inning, allowed a run. Yelich had a home run. Rowdy Tellez hit 2 home runs. The night before, Tellez had a home run. Yeah, so last night, Padres get blown out. The night before, it was a 1-run loss. But offensively, we could say, well, it's pretty much the same stuff. One was a close game, one was a blowout, but both nights, the Padres offense just didn't come through with runners in scoring position. I mean, that's what it was. Look at last night. Runners in scoring position, 1 for 10, left 7 on base. If you look at the first game of this series, that 4-3 loss on Thursday night in extra innings, the offense 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. 2 hits. No, my bad. That was the other night. 6 hits. That was that Mets game. 6 hits. I was thinking 2 hits because they had 2 hits off of Colin Ray. On Thursday night, let's start with the Thursday night game, and then we'll get more into, I know I kind of got into last night already, but we'll start with Thursday. 6 hits in total. Look at the line. Grisham had a big home run. I didn't think that the Padres deserved to win that game based on how they played, how the offense performed or didn't perform for most of that game. But credit to Grish, huge home run. Credit to, I think it was Matt Carpenter who walked before the Grisham home run. Credit to him. But this offense obviously has to be better if the Padres want to go where they want to go. But the good news, obviously, is it's early. Crony, I think, had a first and second situation and didn't come through. There were multiple guys. Soto had an 0 for 4 night. He's hitting 200 after, I think, last night's game. I'm not worried about him. Or 189. He was hitting 200 after Thursday night. He's hitting 189 right now. I'm not worried about Soto long term, but it's not looking good right now. Like, if I want to talk about how he's doing right now, yeah, it's not good. And I think he had a quote the other day. I think it was to probably AJ Cassavell. I think it was an MLB.com article, so it must have been talking about his hitting and essentially saying, well, people are saying, well, I'm struggling, but they're not telling me why I'm struggling. Yeah, I know I'm pulling off balls, rolling over, but people aren't telling me why or how to fix it. You know, they're not trying to tell me how I can get out of this. They're just saying, yeah, I'm struggling. I don't know if I believe that. Maybe that's fans that are saying that, but we're not hitting coaches, right? That, like, our job, I mean, as a fan, right? We just react to the games. We get pissed off when the team's not playing well. When the team is playing well, we cheer. Everything's amazing, right? But things aren't going well when the team gives up 11 runs to the Brewers, who don't have, like, the best offense in baseball. Um, and when we get dominated by Colin Ray and Eric Lauer, we're gonna be pissed off and probably overreact a little bit, right? So with the Soto stuff, like, he's got, I mean, you're one of the best hitters in baseball, dude. Look at the video. I think you can see why you're struggling a little bit. I'm not a hitting coach, but what I would say is, like, yeah, you're pulling off the ball. So how about go out for batting practice a day and don't try to pull anything. Hit everything opposite field. You know, make the conscious effort of staying back, and let's see what that'll do. I'm not going to go on and on saying how Soto can fix his swing because I'm not a hitting coach. But that's what I've been noticing. But yeah, it's not great. Soto's not doing well to start the year. Manny got off to a little bit of a slow start. It's been better. He did homer on Thursday, so that was good to see. That was one of the positive signs offensively. Crony 0 for 4 on Thursday. He had the day off on Friday. He's hitting 196. I think he's going to turn it around. I'm not worried about him either. But all we know is what has happened so far this year, right? And so far this year, we've had multiple guys in this offense be underperforming, and that's part of the reason why the Padres sit where they are right now, and that is 7 and 8. But again, my message for this show, and you can criticize me for being, oh, Ben, you're just being a fanboy. You think everything's going to be fine and dandy. Like, well, I'm giving you my thoughts. This is how I feel. I'm choosing to go the positive way. It's 15 games in. There are a lot of teams, a lot of fan bases in baseball that would love to have this team. And even even if it meant being 7-8, like where the Padres are at right now. So, look, things are going to turn around. They're not going to do this all season long. Juan Soto is not going to do this all season long. Jake Cronenworth is not going to do this all season long. Manny, he's not going to have one home run all season long, right? He's going to get it going. Bogarts, he might slow down a little bit, but others will pick it up. So it's going to even out. Pitching we can talk about. Nick Martinez, he did mention, because he started on Thursday, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, walked 3. He's walking more guys than he usually does, and he did mention that, I think, to Kevin Acee the other night about how he has to get that under control, but I think he will. And when he ends up going to the bullpen, I know he's given the Padres length, 6 innings. I mean, it was a quality start. There were some that were like, well, it's not really a quality start. I mean, he gave up 3 runs. Well, it is a quality start. I mean, I think a lot of the blame here has to go on the offense. I'm not saying all of the blame on the offense, but Nick pitched okay on Thursday. When he goes to the bullpen, I think the walks will obviously go down because he's not going to be pitching as much out of the bullpen, and he'll be deeper into the season. So hopefully he will have fixed that by the time he, ends up in the bullpen. As for Domingo Tapia, yeah, he's not going to be on the roster when Musgrove comes up, right? He's going to be off. Then when Suarez comes up, probably Chris Matt's done. That's how it probably would be right now. Chris Matt would probably go to AAA, or I don't think he has any options left, so he'd probably be exposed to waivers. Maybe another team will pick him up. But he's just, I love Nabil Chris Matt. Obviously, with the Padres videos at spring training and all that, like, great personality. And I thought he's been good at times with the Padres because he has. Like last year, he's been very valuable to the Padres. He and Craig Stammen pitching in those situations where, yeah, the game might be out of hand one way or the other, saving innings for the rest of the pitching staff. And even he's gotten in some high leverage spots too, and pitching multiple innings and giving the Padres some length, or just pitching in big innings and not going to blow away people with velocity, but he's gotten the job done. This year, it hasn't been that great for Nabil Chris Matt, and it hurts to see. But when you think about it, it's like this day was probably going to come at some point. He's not a high velocity guy, and so when he's not hitting his spots, I haven't dove too deep into, is he hitting his spots or is he not? But when you're leaving balls over the middle of the plate, let's just say that when you're leaving balls over the middle of the plate and you're not a high velocity pitcher, this is what is going to happen. You're probably going to get hit around pretty good. The Milwaukee game last night gave up 3 runs. Gave up a run against Atlanta on the 6th. Let's go through some other games from Nabil so far this year. Opening day obviously wasn't great. Gave up 2 runs, gave up a home run, gave up 3 runs on the 4th against Arizona, and then another 3 runs last night. I think if he passes through waivers, he can still help the Padres. Like, I'm not giving up on Nabil. I just think, well, when Suarez comes back, Tapia's not going to be here anyway because Musgrove's going to be back. So Martinez and Weathers would probably go to the bullpen to give the bullpen an extra guy. And when Suarez comes back, well, who's the worst guy left in the bullpen? The lowest guy on the totem pole, probably Nabil Chris Matt. So he'd probably be the guy to be off the roster. He's helped the team in some situations, but so far this year, he doesn't look like that same guy, It sucks. It sucks to see. But getting back to Thursday's game, so obviously the Padres, they had chances despite not having a ton of hits, 6 hits. Didn't have 10 runners in scoring position opportunities like they did last night. But they had chances. Crony, Soto, I think there was runners on, and he flew out to left. when he does fly out to left, it doesn't seem like it's hard contact either, you know? It's just soft flyouts to left. And that's where it's like, yeah, okay, maybe it's a ball outside and he's pulling off, and then it's oppo. That's not hard contact, right? You can hit it oppo without pull off, hit it hard. That's not really what I'm seeing out of Juan Soto right now. So yeah, he's definitely in a funk, but I expect him to turn it around. I'm still leaning on the track record. I know he's had now a significant amount of time with the Padres, but there's still a bigger period of time before he came to the Padres where he was one of the best hitters in the world, right? Maybe a top 3 hitter on the planet. And in the postseason, we saw it at times, you know, when he's on, like, there might not be a better guy in baseball that you want up at the plate. When he's locked in, he's going to get on base. He's locked in. He is going to get on base. Fear is in the pitch. It's inside the pitchers. He's got to walk. If you don't want to pitch to him, he'll be fine with that. He can hit one opposite field in the gap. He can hit one opposite field over the fence. He can hit one in the second deck at City Field like we saw the other day when he's taking those good swings, you know. So we're all just waiting for that to happen, right? If you go to extra innings from Thursday's game, it was weird because Brewers, obviously, they get a run there, right? And the running game, controlling the running game has been an issue, right? I know I focused on the offense there, but going over to the pitching staff, Darvish work slow, Luke Snell work slow, don't control the running game very great. Luis Garcia doesn't control the running game very great. Austin Nola has like a noodle arm, so that doesn't help either. When guys aren't working quick to the plate, they're not controlling the running game. Campy, when he has a stronger arm than Nola, he's not going to throw people out still because of how great a jump opposing runners are going to get, you know. Excuse me. So extra innings on Thursday. Yelich started the inning at second base. Adames walked. And then I think Garcia threw to second. And then Yelich was like, all right, he's not going to do that again. So I'm going to go steal. You know, that was a disengagement. That was one pickoff for that at bat. I'm going to take the chance. He's not going to throw over again at second base. So he steals third. Double steal, I think, right? Yeah, Adames stole second. That set up second and third. And then Tellez had the sac fly, made it 4-3. Like, they have to control the running game better. Maybe that's with a guy on second. Maybe it's multiple looks, like look, step off, or look, pause. I know there's the clock, so you have to deliver the pitch at some point. But look a second time, pause, go. Like little things. Like you got to change it up, throw over maybe multiple times instead of just once, because opposing teams do pick up on that. And Snell, so with Nola, right? I'm glad Campy is starting. He homered last night. There's been some positive signs there. With Nola, a lot of those stolen bases that he's allowed have been on the pitcher. And so I tweeted out the other day that he's allowed 15 stolen bases and he's only caught one guy so far this year. And it's early in the season. That's a lot of stolen bases to allow. I think the Padres lead the league in stolen bases allowed. I think it's over 20 already. It's bad. A lot of it's on the pitcher. But Nola, even if the pitcher worked fast, Nola's not throwing a lot of those guys out. So it's both. It's the pitching side and it's Nola, you know. Good, I guess a good thing. Pitchers were working on pickoffs and controlling the run game a little bit before the game yesterday. But obviously it was a blowout, so that didn't really matter. It's kind of weird for them to be doing spring training stuff early on in the year. Usually maybe they do it middle of the year when guys get, I don't want to say lazy, but just the fundamentals aren't at the level that they should be. You see teams doing that taking extra defense during before batting practice or in place of batting practice like yesterday. Not early in the year, but they're doing it early in the year because that's how bad it is. They're just not controlling the run game. And walks with certain guys on the mound, it's a double. That can't happen. A walk turns into a guy in scoring position. And not literally, not like Tatis scoring position where he walks, he's already in scoring position because a ball in the gap he scores. Not saying that. No, literally scoring position. A guy takes second base or in extra innings. You throw over one time at second base. And I don't even think Bogarts was ready for that. I think he was just standing by in second base, if I remember correctly. You throw over one time. Well, he's not throwing over again. Double steal. Now you got two guys in scoring position. Easy sac fly, take the lead. And then the bottom half of the inning, Dixon's on second as I think the pinch runner. Ground ball. I understand that the ball was not in front of him, right? You're taught when the ball in front of you, don't go, right? Wait till the shortstop or whoever the ball's hit to in front of you throws to first. If you're going to go, usually you just don't go, period, because the guy's going to make sure you get back to second base. But here, I know it wasn't hit in front of him, but it was hit hard and it was like right to the left of him. But he decided to go. Adames, quick turn, threw it to third. It was a good play on Adames's part, but you're already in scoring position to start the inning. I know you want to get to third for a sac fly because there'd be one out if Adames opted to get Crony at first instead of Dixon. I understand the thinking, but when it's hit hard like that, and it's not like it was hit to second base, the second base position, it was hit up the middle, right? I probably would not have gone on that. He gets thrown out. Now there's one out there. There's not a runner in scoring position. The offense isn't really doing much. I know Grish had the home run, but the offense just is not doing anything. And then who came up? Kim lined out to center. Zokar had a single. That's at first and second. Can't be struck out on 3 pitches. But Devin Williams, he also is nasty, so that contributed to it as well. I mean, 9th inning, right? Cruz was up. I think Bogarts was up. Who else was up? Soto, I think, was the first guy up. Yeah, Soto struck out looking. Bogart struck out swinging. Cruz struck out swinging. I mean, Devin Williams, he's one of the best relievers in baseball. So when you're in that spot facing him, even if you have those guys up and you feel good about that, it's still Devin Williams. And it's like, man, this is going to be uphill climb to be able to get a run off of this guy. And the Padres obviously weren't able to do that, which is unfortunate. And it's something, unfortunately, that we've kind of gotten used to, right? Just them not coming through with runners in scoring position so far this year. All right, before getting to the second game, and I'm going to get to the chat, let's take a quick break.
Check out Gaglione Bros' famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries on Friars Road. You can visit their website, gaglionebros.com, for their entire menu and enjoy their cheesesteaks and fries at Petco Park and Snapdragon Stadium as well.
All right, let's get to the chat. Good morning, Christopher. Good morning, everyone. Joseph says, what's up, Ben? Hopefully we get W today. I'll be heading to Petco a bit. Yeah. There was someone in the YouTube comments last night, or maybe it was earlier this morning, that was like, yesterday was my first game. Wow. I mean, come back. I said come back later in the year because this offense will be better later in the year. So if you want to see a Padres win at home, I would just say come back later in the season when hopefully things are clicking and Tatis is healthy and in the lineup. Crony's playing instead of having an off day. I'm not mad at Crony having an off day yesterday. It totally made sense. He hadn't had one yet this season. Hadn't even had a half day off as a DH. There was a lefty on the mound, off to a slow start. I understand it. But come when everyone's in it, the lineup's clicking, then you could probably see a win. Getting to last night with Waka just absolutely sucked. Devin says, did you think Waka was trying to pitch like the outing in Atlanta? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what he said, if he spoke to the media last night after the game. him trying to pitch like he pitched against Atlanta, I don't think pitchers do that because it's two different teams, two different lineups. Maybe there's more lefties in this lineup than there was against Atlanta, or maybe more righties than there was against Atlanta. And there's just different swings, different defensive positioning, different umpire. I forget if Camposano was catching for Waka last Saturday night against Atlanta. It's just different. I don't think Waka was trying to pitch like the outing in Atlanta. And if he was just trying too hard and left a lot of pitches over the middle of the plate. Just did not have it. Just did not have it. Looking at the box score, 4 1/3, 7 earned runs, 11 hits, just 3 strikeouts, gave up 2 home runs. Yelich and then Tellez, right? Tellez hit 2. That was one of them. His ERA now, obviously, only after a few starts, 6.06. It started off really well. I forget what his ERA was entering last night, but it was much lower than that. But these 7 runs, obviously, in a small sample size, that's definitely going to inflate the ERA. But yeah, it felt like, again, like earlier, like I said, I was still giving the team a chance to win the game after the first inning, the top of the first, when Waka allowed 4 runs because of the guys in this lineup. This offense is better on paper than it was last year, even without Tatis, I think. So I thought, yeah, they can score 5 runs, but it meant that Waka had to not give up any more runs. It meant the rest of the bullpen had to not give up any more runs, and that's obviously not what happened. Waka would end up giving up 3 more runs. Chris Matt gave up 3 earned runs, walked 2 guys. Tapia gave up a run. He walked 2 guys. Brandon Dixon was pitching in there. Talk about the ultimate, like, AAA, 4A player. Like, he'll play well in AAA, but he shouldn't be here. Like, that's the 4A player, right? So he'll be down when Tatis comes up. He'll definitely be coming off the roster, I would think. I would think they'd choose to keep Odor. Dahl's on the IL, so maybe. Well, no, because the outfield right now, it's Odor technically, Azokar, Soto, Grisham. So I think they're going to keep Odor because he can play infield and outfield. I think they'll keep Azokar to be a 4th outfielder as well. Defensive replacement maybe for Soto sometimes if they have a lead, a big lead. Yeah, so Dixon would probably go down. Cam says, good morning, Ben. Hello. Good morning, Ben and fellow Friar faithful. We're going to win today. Change the mindset, LFGSD. Yeah, I'm someone that likes keeping positive, especially when it's early in the year like this, and the Padres have this much talent on this team. So, yeah, that's my mindset. We're going to win today. Who's pitching for the Brewers today? Let me look up this matchup. I think it's Freddie Peralta. I don't know if the lineups have come out yet. I haven't been looking at social media. Yeah, Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Brewers today. Seth Lugo on the mound for the Padres. Jackie Robinson did, so it's a special day, obviously, around baseball. This is the 3rd different form the Padres have been wearing in the last 3 days. They had the regular unis, home white pinstripes on Thursday, City Connect yesterday, and then normal white pinstripes. Sorry, I have a bad cough. Normal white pinstripe today, but they have 42 on the change now, right? It's Dodger. I personally don't like, but it's one day. It's Jackie Robinson. I'm not gonna sit and whine about it. And Lugo, hopefully we don't get a walk a start, right, where he falls flat on his face after having an encouraging start. He has a 1.38 ERA so far, but Freddie Peralta has a 0.75 ERA. Lugo has 12 punch outs so far. Peralta has 14. So both guys have gotten off to really good starts so far this year. All right, I'll get back to the chat, obviously. Wanted to touch on the offense in last night's big loss to the Milwaukee Brewers. Just got their doors blown off. So Bogarts continues to get on base. He's got on base still in every single game so far this year. Manny got a hit. Odor came in. He got a hit. But Soto 0 for 3 is hitting 189. Left 3 guys on base. Nelson Cruz 1 for 4. Almost hit a home run. Austin Kim 0 for 4. Campy did have a home run. That was one of the positives in this game. But it was a meaningless home run. In terms of the score of the game was already over. Grish went 2 for 4. Zokart went 2 for 4, scored a run. But that run, obviously was meaningless, didn't mean anything. There's when you look at the lineup last night, there's a lot of guys that had a hit, but it wasn't anything like huge hits, right? Because the pitching, I want to get on the offense because the offense it's not performing up to its expectations. Obviously, we can get on the offense for like Thursday night's game. Not coming through, had an opportunity to win that game, didn't come through. But yesterday, I think you definitely have to start with the pitching, with Michael Wacha. You put yourself in a 4-0 hole, 5-0 through 1.5. That's a really tough place to be. That's a really tough place to put your offense in. And so I don't think many Padres fans, the Padres were going to come back after, especially like, you're 4 innings deep and you haven't scored a run. 5 innings deep, the score is what, 7-1? I think, yeah, 7-1 after 5. And then 6th inning, Milwaukee drops 3 runs. So now it's 10-1. And it's like, yeah, the game's definitely over. Milwaukee had 15 hits in this game. Padres had 9. How many hits did they have? I forget how many hits they had on Thursday, but that might have been more hits than they had on Thursday. But again, the pitching really set the Padres back in this game. But I'm not concerned about Wacha long-term either. Like, the guys that are struggling right now for the most part, like Wacha last night, and that was just one night. I don't think he's just really struggling. I mean, he had 2 really good starts to start off the year. It was a really bad night last night. But like Soto, Crony, look at some guys in the bullpen, Garcia a little bit. Like, I'm not worried about them long term. So I know everything gets decided on the field, but I think fans probably aren't worried long term about the guys that are struggling right now. And so I guess that's the good news. I think most fans think that the Padres are going to turn this around. They're not going to be a losing team all season long. It's just not going to happen. Devin says, I think they should have a players-only meeting sometime soon just to get things straightened out. Maybe I'm being too critical given it's still early, but I think they are fighting themselves, fighting in their mental minds, Devin adds. Yeah, I don't know if a players-only meeting should happen this early. I mean, look, there's a lot of leaders in that locker room. They know what is going wrong. They know that they're struggling. I don't think they need a team meeting to, get their S together. I think the guys individually are trying to, and it's just not working out right now. They've lost, I think, 3 of their last. Yeah, they've lost 3 in a row. Things are going to happen like this. It's early in the year. It's going to be that's just what the baseball season is. It's a roller coaster of a season. There's ups, there's downs. Sometimes there's more ups than downs. Hopefully there's a lot more ups this year. Again, we have a long ways to April 15th, everyone. Hopefully there's a lot more ups than downs. Some teams, there's more downs, a lot more downs than ups on a roller coaster. Sometimes the roller coaster is flat for those teams, right? And the Padres have been one of those teams where maybe there's one up, then it goes right back down the next night, and then the roller coaster stays on the ground for a long before it goes a little bit up again. They played good for a couple games, then it goes down again. For the Padres, hopefully, the roller coaster, is down right now. Hopefully, when Tatis comes back, it's up, and it stays up in the air. It's going to go at some point, but you just hope that's a quick down and it comes right back in, right? Hopefully that makes sense for the podcast audience that didn't see my hands moving. Hopefully there's no Wi-Fi internet issues here. It says my Wi-Fi is good, so hopefully everyone can hear what I'm saying clear today. I know we've had that problem a little bit the last couple shows for some reason. All right. I'm going to get back to the chat. I'm going to do the chat essentially the rest of the show. Definitely, look, my show, I'm going to give my thoughts, but I definitely want the Padres fans' thoughts as well because I'm one of you guys. Absolutely love this team, and I love interacting with Padres fans. So I'll get back to that, but a quick break here.
I want to tell you about the best and easiest way to play fantasy sports. It's Underdog Fantasy. They have great pick'em games and best ball tournaments. In pickup games, just pick higher or lower on 2 to 5 players' stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. You can go cross-team, cross-league, and even cross-sport. Best ball revolves around the draft, which is what every fan loves the most about fantasy, and it eliminates the hassle of having to manage your roster all season long, resulting in a fun and easy fantasy product. How does it work exactly? You enter a contest where you participate in a snake draft against other users. That lineup that you drafted competes against every other draft in the entire contest. The better the combined performance of your team, the more money you win. After your lineup is all played, Underdog will take the best performing players and automatically set them as your starting lineup. That's it. No waivers, no trades, no worrying about who to start or sit. After you complete your draft, your part is done. Underdog Fantasy offers best ball in a variety of ways, including daily contests, weekly contests, playoff contests, and season-long contests. You can either enter into these and compete against thousands of other entrants for huge prizes, or, if you'd like, you can enter into a private draft with friends and family to compete for a smaller prize pool. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. Sign up now by clicking the link in the description or by using the promo code TALKINGFRIARS, and you'll double your first deposit up to $100 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit of $10 or more. So if you deposit $100, you get $100 free. If you deposit $10, you get $10.
$10 free is what that was supposed to say. Sorry. Getting back to this Underdog stuff. So today, if you go to Underdog, again, click that link. If you deposit $20, they'll give you $20 free, so you have $40 to use. I definitely recommend using Underdog. It's great. Daily pick'ems. There's the best ball, obviously. If you go to Padres Brewers for today, there's Seth Lugo, 6 strikeouts, higher or lower. What do you think that's going to be today for Lugo? I'll go just lower than that. I think it could be like 4 or 5. I'm not seeing a huge strikeout day for Seth Lugo today. Juan Soto, 8.5 fantasy points, which is like Underdog awards a certain amount of points for a single, 3 points, a double, 6 points, a triple, 8 points, a home run, 10 points, a walk, 3 points, RBI, 2 points, run scored, 2 points, stolen base, 4 points. So you get that. So what do you think's going to be that there? The way Juan Soto's going, you probably say lower on that, right? Bogart's half a single. I mean, he keeps getting on base. He keeps getting the job done. So you probably go higher on that. Or maybe you're like, well, he's not going to get a hit today. Freddie Peralta on the mound. He's been doing really good his first couple starts. The on-base streak has to end at some point, right? That's not a hitting streak, so he could go hitless and still walk and get on base and extend it. But maybe you go lower on that just in the odds, right? Matt Carpenter, half a hit. Well, he's been struggling to start the year. Maybe you go lower on that. Grish, half a hit. Probably righty, right? So I think it's right on left. Grish gets a hit. You can go higher or lower there. Rougned Odor, half hit. What do you think is going to happen there? So there's a lot there's a lot of pick 'em events there that you can choose from. I definitely love using it. Recommend you using it too as well. All right, getting back to the chat here. Sorry if I didn't sound great today. For some reason, I just keep coughing. E. Smith asks, who will we drop when Tatis and Musgrove return? Tatis returns, probably Brandon Dixon. When Musgrove returns, probably Mingo Tapia out of the bullpen. And then when Suarez comes back, or if he comes back, hopefully he does, then probably Nabil Chris Matt. Greg asks, when are they going to put Campy first and Nola second? Like, when are they going to have Campy be the starter and Nola backup? Well, so far, this series, the Padres, they're having Campano catch a couple games, and then they're having Nola catch a couple games. So they're starting to have a little bit more even playing time. I just know when they're going to have Campy, they're going to sit Nola down and be like, you're the backup. And Campy is the starter. Nola, you're going to catch for, I don't know, 2 guys a week or 1 guy a week. You know, when is that going to happen? I don't know. I don't even know if that's going to happen this year. The Padres pitching staff is just more comfortable with Austin Nola behind the plate right now. But in order to get comfortable with Luis Camposano, guess what? Campy has to be in the games. So at some point, the Padres have to give Campy more of an opportunity here. And hopefully that comes soon. Hopefully he does get the starting position soon. I'm not rooting against Austin Nola. If Austin Nola has a great game today, and the next time he goes out, he has a great game, then okay, then we can keep having Nola catch. You know, I think the Padres, they should ride the hot guy. I know you can't have the catcher you can't ride him for like 6 games straight, probably, or a week straight just because he's hot. Like, the catching position, it's just different. But I'm saying the guy who's hot, have him be the starting catcher for however long he's hot. Give him more consistent starts for however long he's going to help the team more than the other guy, you know. Jim says, burn the City Connect unis after that performance. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the City Connect, most fans like them. I like the hat. I'm not the biggest fan of the jersey, but I like the hat. That's why I have the hat and not the jersey. I've grown to like the colors a little bit more. You know, the San Diego Wave, they have those colors as well. By the way, they play tonight against the OL Reign. I think that game's at 7. It's not at home. It's on the road. But that should be a good matchup there. San Diego State, by the way, I guess I could get my San Diego sports stuff in right now. San Diego State, I believe they're hosting one of the transfers. To obviously try to bring him in. Keyshawn Johnson, he announced that he is transferring. I already gave my reaction to that here on this channel. So any Aztecs fans, you can go check that out. Just look up the playlists on this YouTube channel, or just go videos, scroll down to the Keyshawn Johnson reaction. I was surprised that he announced that he was going to go into the transfer portal based on the way he was talking at the celebration, saying like, who wouldn't want to commit here and all that. Like, it seemed like he really loved it, but maybe he wants to be closer to family. Maybe he goes closer to Oakland. I think that's where he's from. Maybe he just goes to a smaller school so he can go play a different position, more on the wing, instead of being, you know, more 4-5 of a position. Because if he wants to go to the NBA, I don't know if he's going to go to the NBA with how he's playing right now with the Aztecs. He probably wants to be more how the NBA is, and, you know, start shooting more, show teams that he can shoot, and maybe that'll improve his draft stock. I don't know. But he's declaring for the draft. He's entering the transfer portal, maintaining college eligibility. So his run at San Diego State is going to be done. It is done. He was at the Padres game with San Diego State, celebrating their great season, and that was great. The standing ovation that the Padres fans gave the Aztecs, and the Mont Butler, Brian Dutcher, when they threw out the first pitch, and when the highlights were playing on the Jumbotron, it was great. San Diego really wrapped their arms around this team, and that was amazing to see. Even if you weren't an Aztecs fan or didn't go to state or didn't have someone else that went to state, didn't have any connection, it felt like the city of San Diego was rooting for the Aztecs. It's at some point, when they got far in this tournament, people really started to recognize and really gave love to this team. So that was great. But yeah, Keyshot's done. It was surprising. Definitely was wishing that he was going to come back. But San Diego State, they're still going to have a good team next year. Irie says, nothing comes easy for San Diego sports, no matter what money you spend on the team. Well, again, it's early. And no, look, it doesn't matter how much money you spend or whatever. Like, it's going to be hard either way. Like, how many teams in baseball history have had a flawless regular season, no challenges, and had no challenges in the postseason as well? Like the 98 Yankees, they're one of the best teams of all time, right? Maybe the Yankees way back when Babe Ruth played, you know, before, but that was before even people of color were playing. It was just totally different circumstances. So baseball's hard. There's going to be downs, right? The roller coaster thing, there's going to be a lot of downs in the season. It's a game of failure. So it's not just San Diego sports. Nothing's going to come easy in the game of baseball. It doesn't matter how talented the team is. Baseball is just a hard game. It's hard to be great at it consistently as a team, even if you're really good. The really good teams are going to lose 60 games a year. That's just the way it is. And some of those games are going to be really painful. Preston says audio keeps cutting in and out on your end or on my end. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry about that. I don't know why that is. It says my Wi-Fi is perfectly fine. Hobbsy asks, who do you like more, Odor or Dahl? Again, if you want to, there's a lot of comments in here, so if you want to make sure I get to your comment, your question, you can use that super chat button. I appreciate your support. Hobbsy12, who do you like more, Odor or Dahl? Probably Odor, just because of his versatility. I mean, Dahl's on the injured list. We haven't really seen a ton of him. As an outfielder, I'd probably say David Dahl. But again, I just don't have a huge sample size of David Dahl and Odor as well to give you the best answer on that. I'd lean towards Odor just based on what we've seen so far. Christopher says maybe Nola will be more effective with more rest. Who knows, right? Maybe. I mean, he was hitting really well in spring training, and then he got hit, right, with the fastball over 90 miles per hour in the face, right, on the nose, fractured his nose, had a little bit of time off, not a lot, got right back to it. So maybe he rushed back, but it's also because, well, the Padres did need him. He's the starting catcher. And I don't know if the Padres wanted to just give Luis Campusano the starting job right out of the gate. Obviously, they didn't because Nola's catching most of the games. They didn't want to do that. And the pitching staff, they really trust Nola. And Brett Sullivan, he was at the WBC, so he didn't have a lot of reps catching for Padres pitching in spring training. And Pedro Severino didn't have a whole lot of history with Padres pitchers because he's just coming in now. And he's in the minors. So it was Nola and Campusano. It was always going to be Nola and Campusano. Even if an injury happened in spring training, as long as that player could come back from it, if maybe he wasn't totally ready. And that's what happened. I don't want to say Nola wasn't totally ready. He wouldn't say that because he doesn't make excuses. I saw a quote. He was talking to the media about his struggles, and he's like, yeah, I just have to put more barrels on baseballs. That's just the way it is. I just have to do that. So he's accountable. He's not going to blame it on the nose, but who knows if he really was ready to start the year. And maybe did that affect his vision at all? Did it affect anything? I don't know the answer to that. Preston says offense was supposed to carry this team. Our stars have not been stars aside from Bogey. That is the problem. Yeah, I'd say that is a problem. I think they're going to turn it around again. But yeah, that is a problem. Manny's gotten off to a little bit of a slow start. Crony's gotten off to a much slower start than Manny. Soto obviously concerned some fans. That's what I meant to say. Some fans are concerned with the slow start and kind of like deja vu because this is like what we saw a little bit last year when he first came over. And I understand if you've only watched Juan Soto play in a Padres uniform, you didn't see the Nationals days. I definitely understand why some are like, man, I'm not sold on Juan Soto yet. I'm concerned. This guy doesn't deserve all this money that he's asking for. I understand that point of view. But someone like me who's just a diehard baseball fan, by the way, check out my MLB YouTube channel, Baseball Struck. I have daily baseball content there. For someone that's a diehard baseball fan, I watch the Soto days with the Nationals. He's one of the best hitters on the planet. And so I'm going to look at the larger picture and just believe that, yeah, he's going to come around at some point. The track record, I'm just leaning on that. It's going to turn around. He's too good to continue playing like this the whole year or his whole Padres tenure, you know? E. Smith says, what do you think about some of the strike calls against our players the past 2 games? Seems like the strike zone's pretty big. I haven't watched the past 2 games on television, so I can't really speak to how bad the strike zone has been or how good the strike zone has been. I don't know, to be honest. But that's not an excuse. I mean, it's not the Padres didn't lose. Maybe you could say the Thursday night game, you'd have a better case to say, well, the strike zone sucked. Soto shouldn't have struck out here. Some players should have struck out for the Brewers and didn't, and he hit a home run. Maybe you could say that then. But like yesterday, Walker just sucked. The offense didn't do enough. They were down 5-0 through an inning and a half. They weren't going to win that game. You know, the strike zone is definitely not what we should be thinking about when it comes to the offense. Caitlin asked, Ben, are you concerned about Soto getting off to kind of a slow start? Because I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm disappointed and I'm frustrated by it, like a lot of Padres fans are, but no, I'm not concerned. Like I just went over. I know some of these comments are old, but I want to make sure I get to everyone. Irie says Nola's an offensive defensive joke and needs to go on a AAA assignment like Matt Carpenter did to rediscover his fundamentals or something. Didn't Matt Carpenter discover that in the offseason, not in a AAA assignment? Could be wrong on that, but I thought that was him going with like teammates. I think Arenado he went with when he was with the Cardinals and figured out his swing in the offseason. But I get your point. Yes. Offensively, Nola's not doing anything. Defensively, he has a noodle arm. He's not going to throw anyone out. Maybe some people, not literally, he's not going to throw anyone out, but you get my point. He's not great at that. So pitchers, they have to work faster to the plate. And we just have to kind of live with it right now. Just like Blake Snell, we kind of have to live with first half Blake Snell and lean on the fact that, well, the second half, he's turned it around. And so hopefully he will continue to have that trend happen. I mean, you want him to be really good in the first half, but I'd rather have him be really good second half going into the postseason than be really good now and suck after the All-Star break, right? But yeah, Nola, he's going to be on the major league team as long as he's healthy. He's not going to go down to AAA to rediscover his fundamentals or anything. Like the Padres pitchers, the Padres organization, they really like Austin Nola. Campy, with that said, I think he needs to get some more playing time. Like, this guy was one of the best prospects in the Padres organization. So he's up now, and the guy in front of him on the depth chart is struggling. How about you give him some more playing time? It can't get worse, right? Right? That's how I kind of view it. Like, Campy has the potential. Let's see. You can't see if he can live up to the potential without playing him, right? Pitchers can't get comfortable with Campy unless he catches them in games. That's just the way it works. Chad says, should they consider using Dixon in the bullpen for multiple innings? Yeah. In blowouts, yeah, to save the pitching, yeah. I mean, maybe they should just end the games, like have a mercy rule. If you're up by 10, if you're I don't think I mean, they don't want to do that for, beer sale reasons and concessions and all that. But, the ninth inning when a position player is pitching, who is really entertained by that? Who really wants to see that, right? The game's over. Let's just end the game. Let's have everyone be able to go to sleep. Because there are baseball fans out there like myself that will stay up and watch these games just because the game's still going on and we're diehard Padres fans, right? But aren't we just kind of wasting time? The game's over. And I know that is one of the beauties of baseball. There's no clock, right? Well, there is a clock, but you get what I'm saying. There's no like play clock like in basketball. Like the game's over after a certain amount of time. You have to get outs in baseball, You still have to get the outs. But when a game's that out of hand, the game's over. Might as well just end the game, Because when the opposing team sends out a pitcher when they're losing, they know the game's over. They're not trying to win anymore. So might as well just end the game then. If there's a pitcher out there, then yeah, keep the game going because they're signaling, okay, we're still trying. We still have a pitcher out there for us, even though we're down 7 runs. But when it's the ninth and a position player is out there, the Padres are saying we're not trying to win anymore. So might as well just end the game. Maybe that's just me and that's just stupid. That's a stupid thing to propose, but that's kind of how I think about it. Chad says Houston, St. Louis, Seattle, the Phillies are all off to slow starts as well. Eventually, the cream will rise to the top. Yeah. I mean, there are some teams there that I think do have issues, like the Phillies. I think they could still make the postseason, but I don't know. I don't see them winning the division right now. I mean, Rhys Hoskins is out. Their backup first baseman is out. Bryce Harper is going to be out till at least sometime in May. And then he's going to play first base. We'll see what happens there. Their offense is not as good as it was going to be heading into the year because of some injuries, right? The pitching hasn't been great, and the NL East, it's a good division. So I think the Phillies, they could be in a little bit of trouble there, but they could still make the playoffs. Houston could still make the postseason. St. Louis still can make the postseason. Seattle could still make the postseason. The Padres, 7-8. I think they're still going to make the postseason. So, yeah, I definitely agree, Chad. Eventually, the cream will rise to the top. You can look at the Braves. They had a slow start. You can look at the Nationals. When they won the World Series, they had a slow start. So, it's still the World Series caliber stuff. It's still in the Padres. We're going to be fine. Again, that's the common message I have for Padres fans here in this show. Devin says he's confused how Bogarts is the leader in homers. Playing inside the green monster wall probably hindered the power aspect I witnessed. Petco Park is way better for him. Yeah, a lot of those hits ended up being doubles. And Bogarts, he's a line drive hitter. So a lot of those balls probably weren't home runs, right? That would be home runs at Petco. So maybe that's why you're seeing it. But Bogarts is a really just good player in general. He's one of the best shortstops in baseball. I love the signing because the Padres are trying to win right now. I couldn't care less. That's one of my pet peeves. I hate when people say I could care less when they really are trying to say I couldn't care less. Like, if you could care less, then that means you care. I couldn't care less what the contract looks like at the end of the contract. It's probably not going to look that great, but I care about what Bogarts gives to the Padres in his prime. And in his prime, I know we're 2 weeks in it, but it's looking really good so far. And he's one of those like Jake Cronenworth, right? Like just hitter, line drives. That's when that's really what they are. They're not this power hitter, but they're going to be consistent. And I know Croney's struggling early on in the year, but him and Bogarts, they're going to be consistent. They're going to play every day. You can lump me into that as well, but he has more power, or at least home runs in terms of home runs. They're going to be consistent. They're going to play every day. You can rely on them. Those are the guys you should be signing to those long-term deals, right? The Beef says, currently sitting in a hotel room with my family overlooking Petco. Took us all to the game last night. Had great seats. Spent the last 4 innings drinking, watching my kids in the sand. Rough night. Yeah. Well, at least your kids had a good night. Yeah, that was a rough game last night. It was cold. That made it worse. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, that sucked. But day game today, Jackie Robinson Day. Hopefully the Padres can turn it around today. Seth Lugo, hopefully, like I said earlier, doesn't have a Michael Wacha start where he falls flat on his face after 2 really good starts. And hopefully the Padres don't get out again. Crony will be in the lineup against. He will be in the lineup today with the day off yesterday. But Freddie Prof, he's going to be tough. That's at least what we would think, right? 0.75 ERA. Out a pregame thoughts video, but kind of to give some pregame thoughts here in this show for that are here live. Yeah, Chad says Phillies are toast with all the injuries. I wouldn't say they're toast. I just think they're not going to win the division. That's the Braves, I think, have the edge there with the division. All right, that's going to do it. Talking Friars episode 383 again. Sorry for the coughing and maybe not much energy as I usually have. Padres aren't playing great right now. Not that great. I'll be back tomorrow after Sunday's game for the show. Maybe I'll do the wrap-up show with John. We'll see. John Schaefer, Jim Russell's in Cabo. Definitely in Cabo mode. That's going to do it. Podcast listeners, YouTube viewers, I appreciate your time. You can follow me at Talking Friars on Twitter and Instagram for the Padres content. Thank you so much again. Until next time, go Padres, and I'll talk to y'all later. See ya.